Bit of chit chat. So we've got this 120 here, handbrake not working, flogged out. And I thought, I might need some shoes. But as you can see, especially when I hold it that close at that end, it makes it look like new, doesn't it? Some of the new ones you buy, they don't have much more meat than that. So while there's still meat there, you don't need to replace them. You can see what's here. You can also see the grooves on there as well. Grooves are only put in place if the handbrake's either on while the car's moving, which is what wears the shoes, which is what then requires more adjustment. We don't think they're always this clean. We've just given them a clean up. That's why there's a bit of moisture left behind. While it's all pulled apart, I like to get in there with a pressure washer and wash it all out. That's what's happened. Makes a bit of mess in the workshop, but it just means that floor ends up really clean with a double mop up. Look at that. See, that's the single mop. When the job's finished, we'll go for another mop. That's why it's the Prado Hospital. And that's how we roll, nice and clean. Now, that's what this video is all about, clean. So if you want to avoid having to constantly have your handbrake not working and adjust these, I'm going to give you the tip again. As soon as you avoid the mud, avoid the bog holes as much as you can. And if you had to drive through some, then you want to, as soon as you get back and you're washing the vehicle, you want to get in here and wash as much of it out as you can. And the way that's done is, as you can see, it's a hat type rotor that goes over this drum brake, handbrake only assembly, and there ends up being a bit of a gap there. Let me go to the other side. Have a look at the lines in this brake shoe. It's out of control. Go ahead and put it on, mate. I want to show everybody, right, how this rotor goes on. Right, see that? But you've got a gap there, right? So if you get enough water in there, right, it will get in there. So I use the pressure washer and I put water in that gap there, which then it'll come down here behind the backing plate and get in that gap behind where it's just slowly opening up now. Perfect video, eh? How was that? Beautiful. So we washed this out because the issue is all the mud that's in here, it's like the sandpaper on the shoes wearing them down, and then you need more adjustment again. Now, there's a couple of adjustments. The main adjustment is done underneath using this little adjustable wheel here. That's one adjustment, the main one you could say. Another adjustment would be replacing these shoes, because you can see here it's getting a bit thin. That's at the thinner end of the thing. It's probably about maybe 2 millimeters. So, maybe it's half worn compared to what they are new, maybe a bit more. But the point is, it's quite a bit of work to pull these shoes off, and we can get away saving that work for the customers by not replacing the shoes when they don't need replacement. We could easily just replace them and make more money, and there'll be more meat there, but they're not worn down. At the end of the day, worst case scenario, that wears down metal to metal. You're going to know it, and then you're going to need shoes, and you're going to need rotors as well. But you know what? I've decided replacing the shoes and the rotors at the same time is probably a good idea, because you also get a bit of wear inside that rotor there. So they're a bit old, rusty. You might have a bit of pulsation in your braking, which is this service area here where the brake pads clamp against the rotor. That's your braking system. But the drum brake setup inside is for the handbrake. So understand that and replacing the whole lot. And at this point, I'm going to remind you, lsiauto.com.au and the discount code 4B4Diesel, same as the YouTube channel for the extra discount. Not my website, just the discount I set up for you people. So at the moment, we've washed the rotors as well. That's why you can just see a bit of surface rust and our dirty hands. We'll clean all that up with a bit of brake cleaner. And you know what? The brake pads will just clean off any of that rust in no time. It's not something to worry about. All this thicker rust, nothing to worry about either. It's just how it is. Some of your newer rotors do come with the coating on them so they don't rust. And that includes these horsepower rotors on the bench waiting for one of my vehicles, and some old ones here, but just wanted to mention they do have this Geomet coating, and exactly what it does is prevents that rust. This was not planned, they just happened to be sitting on the bench, so I'm just going to show you the part numbers. These are what came off my 120 Prado. When I put these horsepower rotors on it, these are the DBA slotted front and rear rotors that came off that there was nothing wrong with. I just wanted to try these because he told me about these. I said, we'll give them a go. And we also tried some horsepower pads, but we always prefer the genuine pads, to be quite honest. So, but they have the genuine Toyota pads on the website, cheaper than you get at the dealer. Check it for yourself if you like. And don't forget the discount code. So these are the part numbers for the front of the 120 on my 120, and the rear, if you want to use those, that's up to you. Find it on their website. And if I remember correctly, It might say disc rotor, but I'm pretty sure it was the drums in those boxes. You can check it out for the Hilux 2013, our one. That's the rear brake shoes, also from LSI, to go with those drums when I get around to it. I've got to get some wheel cylinders, and this will be the front rotors that are going to go with these genuine pads. I've currently got the horsepower pads in the front of the Hilux. They're not bad, but I feel, and they're clean and they're not noisy, they're very good, and they're a bit cheaper, but I find that I'm requiring more pedal pressure, so I'm just changing it all over. And to be fair, I'm putting new rotors again so that we've got a perfectly flat surface to compare fair braking. And these are the pads that will be going on with those front rotors soon. Okey-doke. So the way we do it is, once it's all clean, adjust up the shoes a little bit with the drums on off, because it's kind of a bit easy to access. Once we're happy, and that's not forcing the drum on, if you can ever not get it back off, you need to get through the hole here. So bring this down to the bottom, right? Or there's the hole at the bottom, right? You can see the adjuster in there. You have a look around. Oh, this has actually turned out to be a really good video. Where's the adjuster hiding? Where is it? Where is it? Can't find it anywhere. There's the wheel right in front of us, right? I was looking, what was I doing looking up there? Right there in front, right? So before you put it back together, work out which way you've got to turn it to tighten and loosen, right? Then you put your rotor back on. You can do your fine adjustment here. We don't want it too tight, because remember we said about if it's dragging, it's going to wear the shoes, and once you get some mud, dirt and dust in there, it's going to wear those shoes down. So what we do now is whack some nuts on there to hold it all flush all the way in, and then we're going to go check the handbrake operation. And sometimes you need to do the cable adjustment, which is inside the car, in case the cable's stretched and it's never been adjusted, so we'll check that out as well. Let's have a look at the pads quickly. You can see there's plenty of meat there, but beware, the same mud you're driving through wears these rear pads down. It's just like sandpaper, so you got to wash it all out. When I come back from a trip, I'm throwing heaps of water up round behind in here, so past the caliper, just really flooding the area. And I'm looking at the bottom here to see when clean water starts running out the bottom. That's what I do. And my shoes still get worn down and require adjustment, but not as bad as those that don't give them a good wash out, if you know what I mean. Just saves you the effort doing the adjustment and all the money, if you know what I mean. Because if you're not doing it yourself, it's going to cost you money, and either way it's your time. You might have something better to do, but if you like working on the car, just leave the mud in there and you can jack it up and pull this apart and readjust it anytime you like. If you like, you can do a bit of inspection, have a look at all your handbrake cables all the way through, but it's just a 120, best car ever built. I don't think we're ever going to see a problem. So your handbrake cables come from inside the car. Out here they split, one goes each way, this way, around outside the chassis where it's secured with some clamps, and onto the lower trailing arm, and then straight in there, which it's bolted from the inside to hold that one in. So if you want to ever disconnect that, you've got to pull it all apart. The other side, same thing, straight across the top. You won't see it over the fuel tank until it comes out over here. There's some other wires secured around it. So let's have a look inside the vehicle now and see if this handbrake is now functional. Oh, I just want to say it's really super important to make sure it is working, because it is not only your handbrake, park brake, it is your emergency brake. So when your brake system fails, it's your plan B. All right, I'm going to show you the cable adjustment. So the easy way to get this out, you don't actually take that silver trim off. You don't have to. You can, because sometimes it gets caught up right near the edge of popping the trim out. So you don't need to take this side. Just take that side if you like, or just let it pull itself off. But 2 screws down in there, which holds it to the rest of the trim. So once you undo that, this can stay down where it stays. You lift the console lid and just grab it at the back here and just pull it off. And that'll allow you to get down to see what's going on with the cable here. You can also unzip this and pull the rest of it off if you want, but it's up to you. It's actually looking pretty clean down in there. But I'm just going to show you where the adjustment is. Let's have a look at the operation of it first. So when I pull the handbrake here, right, this is what happens, right? See that lever at the bottom, it's pulling, and you'll see a nut. It'll be hard to see, but right down, see at the end of my finger, there's a little adjusting nut right there. I think it's a 12 mil from memory, and this one's a fair way out. So this is something that can be adjusted. You don't do this all the time. This is the lazy handbrake adjustment. A lot of people, they'll go for this. People that know where it is, they'll just go, oh, your handbrake's not working. And rather than doing all that work underneath back down there, they'll come straight for the easy adjustment and spin this nut. And all that will do is change the position of this handbrake, and cause problems for you down the back. So the back is where the problem is. Once this is set up correctly, it shouldn't really need to be adjusted again on an older car. The cable's going to stretch maybe once over its life, have one proper adjustment, and that's it. So what we can do now is, it gives us a bit of a heads up. Just have a look at that piece at the back there. You can see when we go like that, you might be able to tell by which cable's got the movement to which side needs adjustment. In this case, they're looking pretty even to me. So we'll give a few clicks at each side at the back wheels, and we might just give that. You've got to get like a short 12mm open end spanner in there to that, and give it, I would nip that up a few turns actually, to be honest, because this handbrake is kind of like, so that's 10 clicks till it starts getting tight. I reiterate, it's important to do the wheels before you do here, but I already know here is a little bit out, and it'll make him feel better, and I might even do mine a few more turns as well. A little bit awkward, just got to get your hand down in here with your 12mm and nip it up a little bit, but that's the easy way to take it off. When you're done, see the yellow clips, literally lift the console lid, push it down, the clips will pop back in there, pop your 2 screws back in, which will be sitting in the tray there if you haven't lost them. Yeah, there is 2 there. Come on, mate, give your car a clean. Anyway, bada bing, bada boom. And that's what we call bada bing, bada boom. You've got your emergency handbrake working, and you can park the car. Personally, I don't use the handbrake because I don't want to wear it out, but if I'm on a hill and the car stalls and I'm rolling backwards real quick, like what happened once, I want it to work. And for me, it came up a whole lot further, and it was a bit of a pucker moment, and it's time for me to adjust my handbrake as well. So let this be a lesson for all of us to go and clean and adjust that handbrake. Check the shoes first. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll catch you on the next video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Quite tight at 6. Happy days. See ya.